Well, hello there, welcome back to another Pokemon Master video. Unfortunately, I had finished normal tower and I didn't do live voice recording, especially for 30. I'm sad about that. But as you understand, I had to record that video as soon as I can because there was a banner that was 5,000 pay gems and there was a chance that you can get anniversary Juliana early. And for some reason I hit Juliana early, as you saw if you watched those videos, and I went ahead and just cruised through normal tower. Unexpectedly, again, I wasn't expecting to get Juliana in that banner. I already made a video telling my plans about how I was going to roll for Arc Suit Alder first, and then if I have enough gems, roll for Juliana. But 5,000 paid gems for one 5-star candy, I'm like, you know what, might as well just give it a shot. And I ended up using that 5-star yellow candy. So like, realistically, I didn't get it because I used it on Juliana. But indeed, just a quick note, I'm surprised. Like, I expected those normal tower videos to do well because I was showcasing a character before it was officially released in like the actual banner. And so I'm like, you know what? I thought that I was gonna get some views, but it turns out that especially the floor 30 clears like my third most viewed video, so I appreciate that. If you subscribe from that, I appreciate it, but please don't subscribe if you don't like my videos. Don't just subscribe because you watched one video, but I appreciate it nevertheless. That being said though, I do want to talk a little bit about the run, and then specifically I want to go over two fights. One very impressive fight, which is this one, floor 27, and then I'll also go over floor 30 too, because again, I didn't get to do that live in terms of I didn't get to voice it live, but I still want to talk about that. In short, Juliana anniversary super overtuned. Look at this number. If 720, her sync move does 720 damage. Yeah, I'm like, why does her sync move do so much damage? Why is she so overtuned? And the reason why Juliana is so strong is because she can never hit for super effectiveness. So they had to make her strong. They have to literally make her attacks do double damage, because she can't naturally do double damage from super effective attacks. So that's why they overtuned her to make her so that, okay, she is on par with characters that can hit for super effective attacks, non-normal characters. And because of that, she is actually incredibly strong when it comes to content where you don't normally hit super effectiveness. So for example, Pasio Tower, you basically don't hit for super effectiveness all that often, especially normal tower, which makes Juliana especially powerful in this type of content because normally you don't hit super effectiveness anyway. So basically Juliana does double damage compared to most of the other characters you're going to be using in Pasio Tower, which I think that's why she feels super strong, especially in Pasio Tower, because she just does double damage compared to basically all your other characters. Floor 30, you'll never hit for super effectiveness for the most part. So that's why Juliana feels especially strong on floor 30, because yeah, other characters aren't going to be hitting double damage. Well, she naturally does from her passives. So that's why she feels strong. I upgraded her to 5 out of 5 copies for the floors that I can only hit with physical attacks, because I needed her to be a support for my physical attacker. I upgraded her to 5 out of 5 copies. I don't think you need to upgrade her to 5 out of 5 copies, especially if you have other good support units. I'm talking if your Palmer is, 5 out of 5 copies, even Super Awaken, you probably don't need. If you have Variety Chase, there's a good chance that you might not even need Juliana 5 out of 5 copies. But I 5 out of 5 her just because specifically the tile that you get, it basically you just extend normal zone, and you get to summon normal zone when you use your Terra move. So that's basically it for her 5 out of 5 copies. Also, it makes her sync grid a little bit easier to build just because the tile is 0, so you can select this tile, and then you can save some energies on the adjacent tiles. So 5 out of 5 copies, she's definitely good, but if you have other characters that can summon normal zone, for example, Variety Chase, you might not need her 5 out of 5 copies. Other than that, on special floor, she just absolutely clears. or on floors where they can take special damage, she just absolutely clears because she just does powerful AoE moves. She can lower normal rebuff and then lower stellar rebuff, and that just makes it do a bunch of damage. I'm not sure if normal rebuff and stellar rebuff stack. I believe it does. So basically you're lowering the rebuff by 6, and then the other 2 Pokemon you're lowering it by 3. And her trainer move is also incredibly busted. It makes it so that her next sync move is like super powerful, especially if you use her when she is in the stellar form. Like, this trainer move is actually busted. I didn't use it that often in my run just because, again, you don't need that power. Her terror move also flinches, which is crazy, and it also applies special move break. So yeah, it's just, there's just so much about her kit that's strong. So that's that. Elaine is my main support character in this run. It's nice because she actually ran alongside Juliana's banner, so if you got lucky you'd be able to get Elaine as well, maybe even multiple copies. I actually never rolled for Elaine. I got her, I think 3 copies of her just from random Pokefair stuff, so that's super lucky. And I think I did use 1 move candy on her. Obviously I used 4 move candies on Juliana, but I used 1 move candy on Elaine. And she is super strong because she heals your team and herself, which is super strong. She also does buff physical up next and special up next, so that's low-key pretty strong too. She applies flinching, which is super nice. If you have her at 1 out of 5 copy, she applies flinching 33% of the times. But if you have her at 4 out of 5 copies, she basically flinches 66% of the times, so it doubles her flinching rate, which is super strong. And yeah, Elaine is just super good because she is our main flincher. She also has a lot of passes that make her bulky to physical moves or special moves. So Brain Brawn 2 makes her, tanky against special moves, and Sterner stuff makes her tanky against physical moves. Tropico's lower special attack and special defense, and so because of that, you don't need certain tiles like Satisfied Snicker, because you're already going to be lowering your special attack and special defense with Tropicals. So you can go ahead and distribute your tiles elsewhere. Let's Go Together to raise evasiveness is super strong too, especially on floors 21 to 29. On floor 30, this is useless because they always will hit you, like they can't miss, and so this is useless on floor 30. But on the other floors, it's super nice. Also, applying gradual healing is super strong too, just to keep your Tropicals alive. So just super strong. Lowering their attack too. I mean, she just does a lot. Elaine just does a lot, and some people do have her at 5 out of 5 copies. Before Tropicals, I was also planning on getting her at 5 out of 5 copies just for extra healing. But realistically, you do not need her at 5 out of 5 copies if you have Tropicals. So she's super strong. I didn't realize Elaine was that good until I used her for tower. Her EX roll is tech. You technically don't need that unlocked. You just get a few extra stats, which I felt was worth it. But her EX roll you probably don't need. And if you really want to just roll the dice and go with RNG, you can probably just stick with her at 3 out of 5 copies instead of 4 out of 5 copies. 4 out of 5 copy just makes her flinching way more consistent. For my physical attacker, I'm using Hugh. This is probably like it's an interesting choice because the other really cheap choice is Penny. But the problem with Penny is that you have to have Penny. You have to have Penny with Sylveon. And literally at the time of doing floor 21 to 29, my Penny was at 98 friendship points. So I'm like, okay, do I wait 1 day so that I can get Penny? And by the way, 98, that was me using 3 or 6 golden items for Penny. So I was really trying to get Penny to level 100 before making that video, but I couldn't get Trainer Lounge Penny. And so I'm like, to make this video early so that people see it early, I just have to not use Penny, unfortunately. and I was able to clear with Hugh. I used this team. Obviously Pokemon Master doesn't show my replay. There was a time where you could have saw my replay, but obviously I'm using a standard character, and Pokemon Master wants you to pay money, and so they're not going to show a replay with a standard character, right? But Hugh's really good because he just does good sync move damage. If you go with his sync grid tiles, Haymaker and sync power flux, you're able to really do a lot of sync move damage with him. He even basically fully buffs his own attack, and so you just need Elaine to use one trainer move to fully raise his crit. And yeah, I mean, he also has a really good passive in Hugh's Determination. Basically, if he dies, he gets res, which is way stronger than Endurance because he can actually survive sync moves. So during the second or third sync move, if they crit you, you survive that, and you're able to just fully heal back up, and it makes him so that he has great survivability. Yeah, there's not much to say about Hugh. I upgraded him to level 200 just because I needed that extra damage. Initially I had Hugh at level 180, and I think I had Elaine at 3 out of 5 copies, and I was like super close to clearing the run, but I was just a few hit points off, and so I ended up upgrading Hugh to level 200. I ended up upgrading Elaine to 4 out of 5 copies, and that was enough to clear floor 27. So yeah, Hugh is MVP. You need a physical attacker. You can't just 5 out of 5 Juliana and hope that will clear your tower. You do need a physical attacker. Again, Trainer Lounge, Penny is a good cheap option, as long as you have Sylveon and Penny. Palmer obviously is good, but as you see here, all the runs that use Juliana have Palmer at high investment. Super Awaken. So probably you want Palmer at like 5 out of 5 copies to be able to do floor 27. But honestly, in my opinion, floor 27 is the most difficult floor. If you have Juliana, floor 30 should be a piece of cake. But anyways, enough yapping. I'm gonna go ahead and break down my floor 30 run, which is pretty simple, and then I'll break down that floor 27 run. So here is my floor 30 run. I didn't mention Whitney in the video or in the beginning of the video, but honestly, as long as you have Elaine and 5 out of 5 Juliana, the other character can be anybody. It could be it could be Larry, it could be Variety Chase, right? It could be a lot of characters. But again, Juliana is just good enough. To start off the battle, I'm just basically trying to flinch the Lugia and then use 2 waves of moves to get to my first sync move. Again, I'm just using Potion on Whitney just to accelerate the sync move, because you do run into a little bit of move gauge issue. But after flinching just the Lugia, we go ahead and sync with Elaine here, and then we want to target flinch the next Pokemon here. So I go ahead and I use my move. I'm actually going to use Juliana's Kaleidoscope move to lower normal rebuff and to also accelerate the sync move countdown so that I can use my move faster. And then here we're going to go ahead and flinch that Selby. Again, this run, I mentioned it in the description, but it literally only took me 1 attempt. This run only took me 1 attempt. We're also going to just sync with Trapagos here. Attempt to flinch the Selby. I didn't flinch the Selby there, but that's okay. So now we go ahead and sync with our Trapagos. Here we're going to apply the Stellar rebuff on everybody. And Headbutt, with Wigglytuff, I headbutt the Lugia and I actually flinched it there, so bought me an extra turn there, which is super good. I'm actually perfectly in line for the next sync move, and so I go ahead and just try to quick attack to flinch. I think I was trying to flinch the Celebi here. So yeah, it's basically what you want to do is you just want to attack last with the Eevee and attempt to flinch. I'm actually going to sync move with Wigglytuff here simply because I want to get a few more sync move buffs and to resummon that normal zone. We keep a dragon with Trapagos here just to lower their special attack, special defense, and do damage. And then here I want to avoid flinching, and so because of that I want to avoid flinching the Lugia. And so the last target we just flinched was a Celebi, and so we try to target all our flinching moves on the Celebi so that we don't accidentally flinch the Lugia. Here I guess I use Johto Solidarity. Again, this is where the other character can provide a little bit of support, but at the end of the day you don't really even need Wigglytuff here. Wigglytuff at 1 out of 5 copy is also sufficient. I attempted to flinch the Suicune here and I did flinch. So now the Lugia gets to attack. Unfortunately, not able to flinch that, so we're gonna kind of eat this Giga Impact here. But that's okay. I'm gonna use Stellar Shine here. This is gonna greatly improve the damage of my Terra move and my next Sync move. And so here I'm gonna attack with everybody. Actually, attack with Eevee first here. I probably should have targeted the Lugia, but again, this was my first attempt and I was kind of just fumbling everything here. But that's okay. We just did a ton of damage. Oh, actually, I forgot the Terabagos flinches, and so we try not to flinch with Eevee and then flinch with Terabagos. See, I even forgot. And then we use our Sync move here, and again, this Sync move, because I just used that trainer move, that Sync move is going to do a ton of damage. Unfortunately, I didn't have Johto circle up, but I mean, come on. This battle is so easy. Again, you just make sure that your flinch timing with your Elaine is good, and then at the end you flinch with your Stellar move or your Terra move, and then that's it. So pretty simple clear, but honestly it's the next clear that I think is really impressive with the normal tower, or with the normal tower with the physical. This run again only took me 1 attempt, but the next attempt, or the next fight that I'm going to show, which is 27, it took me a lot of attempts. So here I just go ahead and show real quickly everything. And yeah, there isn't really much to say. Again, you don't really need Wigglytuff at 4 out of 5 copies. You can just use anybody like Larry or whatnot, just any character that can provide a little bit of support. The next one, I'm gonna, we'll see if I can keep up with the pace of the fight. Alright, so this fight is actually the one that took me the most attempts. This took me a lot of attempts and I was like raging. Again, I had to upgrade Hugh to level 200 and Elaine to level 5 or 4 out of 5 copies to do this. Basically, to start off this fight, we're just going to be attacking with Terabagos to lower special attack and special defense. We're going to be buffing with Hugh, and then quick attack attempting to flinch this Sceptile. It's super important to flinch the Sceptile. If I didn't flinch it, I would have reset the run. Also, we're going to be using Headbutt on the target that can't be flinched, so we don't accidentally flinch somebody with his Headbutt. But we do want to use Headbutt on any relevant targets to do extra damage. Same with Elaine. Again, quick attack on the Sceptile just so that we don't accidentally flinch the other Pokemon. Here I'm also going to apply the normal rebuff on the Sceptile here. Here is really important because what we're going to do is we're just going to attempt to sync with Terabagos. So we're actually going to flinch, right? We're going to flinch, and then we go ahead and we're going to sync, and then we can flinch. Also, I don't attack too much with Hugh because I want to save his attack. I don't want to accidentally flinch anybody. I lied. I didn't sync with Terabagos. I synced with Hugh, probably because I don't want to summon Normal Zone. My bad. I messed that one up. Here we're going to use Stellar Shine just because I don't have enough move gauge to use Terabagos' normal move. Stellar Shine honestly doesn't do anything. Here we attempt to flinch the Sceptile, and we did get a flinch in there, which is good. And then we just heal with Eevee and all that jazz. I guess here is where we sync with our Terabagos. Again, flinch timing is super important in this fight. And you notice that I tried to use quick attack on the Sceptile, and then I quick attack on the Lunico to flinch it earlier on in the fight. So I don't use, I use 2 quick attacks in a row there. Here, as soon as I synced with Juliana, I used the Kaleidoscope Terra Sandstorm to apply Stellar Rebuff. Again, I think Stellar Rebuff does improve my normal damage for buff a lot. And again, I keep using Headbutt and Let's Go Together when it's applicable. I also got a Sync Move Cheese in there previously. That Sync Move Cheese, by the way, is super consistent. That Sync Move Cheese right before subtitles, or right after you sync with Juliana. I found that Sync Move Cheese to be super consistent. Here, we're just going to be syncing, and then we're probably going to be attempting to flinch the subtile right here, just because it's flinching ward off. Again, when it's recovering, it's flinching. We don't want to accidentally flinch it with other moves, but here we're just going to keep on headbutting and stuff. Keep on using just normal moves, Let's Go Together, and Quick Attack, you know. Here, I don't attempt to really flinch the Ludicolo or Swiftry. I just go ahead and just keep attacking the center Pokemon here, because again, it's really important to get damage off on the subtile. And at this point, we're looking pretty good. Nothing really crazy here. We're not doing any damage with the other Pokemon besides Buffalon, so that's why like Tropical is really just here just for support. And again, just while we do this run, just keep in mind we don't want to mess up our flinch timing, so we're just gonna use Headbutt here, hoping not to flinch. I probably shouldn't have used Quick Attack there. I probably should have chilled a little bit. That's okay. I used Dire Hit All just to not accidentally flinch it, but I did end up flinching the subtile anyways because I used the Quick Attack early, so kind of messed up there. But then we went ahead and actually used that Terra move. I forgot that I flinched the side Pokemon, so I planned it out perfectly actually. That Terra move also applies Normal Zone, and so not only was it good flinch timing, but also summoned Terra Zone there. And here we just keep on attacking. Man, I forgot all like these little micro plays, because again, I'm recording this like a day after I actually did this run, so you're gonna have to bear with me for not being totally in tune of what's going on here. I use Protect on Eevee here just in case it gets hit. It's gonna get hit with a lot of damage, so we're gonna try to protect from Eevee dying, because at this point after her second sync move they do a bunch of damage. My Hue there actually died because Sceptile got a crit and a sync move. That being said though, because of Hue's passive, I was able to survive. It's really important that you don't get crit there so that you have extra time to do more moves. But that sync move done a ton of damage because again that Normal Zone was still up when I used that Terra move to resummon it with 5 out of 5 Tropicals. Keep in mind that I used that move right before Hue sync moves, so that I was able to get another sync move, Hue sync move in under Normal Zone. At this point it has ran out, but I have perfectly used all my, or I have perfectly you know, timed my moves, and I'm able to use a sync move. And surprisingly, my Pokemon are all still pretty healthy when I did this run. Again, this was my best run, like perfect move timing and everything there. I'm sorry if I didn't explain it that well. I felt like the battle went too fast and I couldn't really explain every single little detail that I should have, but there we go. Again, that fight, even though I made it look really easy there, it was not easy because again, Hue level 200 and Elaine 4 out of 5 copies. But anyways, that's it. A little bit of commentary, post commentary of Normal Tower, because I really want to talk about it. But stay tuned because a Bug Tower coming up. So thank you for watching. You're beautiful the way you are. Next time, Bug Tower.